It is the marathon. It is the countdown to Tuscany. We're gonna make it. We're all gonna make it. Welcome back, everyone. Artist Journal, March 30th, 2023. Broadcasting from Berlin, Germany. My name is Adrian Pocobelli, and I have to sprint through this. We're gonna discuss that, actually, in a comment. You're rushing through everything. Well, we do this every day, folks. Almost. So welcome back. Tukes continues to stun and just kind of mystify and amaze with, like, what do you call this? Abstract AI? I'm open. Feel free to leave a comment. I don't know what to call this. I guess it's abstract AI. Maybe it's pretty simple. Pretty rad. Again, like there could have been 50 different things. I mean, Dan controls fish, which we're going to see is unbelievable. There are so many things we could have started with. I went with this. Look at this. An interesting 3 here, isn't there? But it's more abstract. Anyway, let's just see, because actually there was a super interesting comment here. Yes, we are recording. Good. I am held together in the nothingness by art. I mean, that is probably the perfect sentence that was put here. And I mean, Tukes messaged me actually maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago. And I believe, if I remember correctly, I'll have to go back to that message, that this might be AI as well. Yeah, you see it's in quotes, and I believe I think Tukes is another one of these artists. Let me go back to my notes here. But I believe is another one of these artists that uses the prompts from AI to create this. So let me figure that out. Again, as I said with that last show that we started Tukes with, staring into the heart of a machine, and it still feels that way. So I'm still trying to just kind of wrap my head around these images. Here's another one. Again, I think Sky Goodman retweeted this, and it went around a bit. GM, yeah, nice GM. So we're seeing, I think, I don't know what else to call it, but breakthroughs in abstract art courtesy of AI. If you have another summary for me, help me out. Very interesting. And we were discussing on yesterday's Spaces, which I edited, and I think it's the most pro kind of show I've done with the Twitter Spaces in terms of a product afterwards. We'll look at that in a second. We're discussing about physical art and digital art going back and forth. And I have to say, and for those that might not know, Hanamulla paper is some of the best paper. It's kind of art quality paper. Hanamulla is kind of industry grade. The Fool on the Hill, owned by Hija Albino, square 40 by 40 print. So all to say, this looks stunning. And I was sort of mentioning in yesterday's episode, inkjet doesn't always cut it, but it sure does here. And you see the power of Hanamulla paper, and this is probably a professional printer, one of those massive Epson, printers. So, Tukes. And of course, we saw this small, I think this is part of Hitch Switchers, which is on Nifty Gateway, also Tukes. So Tukes is really, I have to say, I love the progress and evolution since I've been looking at Tukes since, October, and it's like very, very rapid evolution. So thanks everybody who came out yesterday to the Twitter Spaces. It was a really great show, and and the good news, I recorded it this time, as I forgot to do it last week. It is recorded. This is the unedited version, which you can listen to, but I actually edited it last night. And these are some of the things we discussed, actually. I edited it last night. I'll show you where you can. It's actually on the YouTube, which maybe you saw that already. Check this out. So this came up in the discussion. If you listen to it, and I recommend you do, almost the end of a wonderful Art Mater times Nouns week. Let's recap all the steps that led us here. Look at this. So this is a pen plotter but it's like a paint plotter. Instead of a pen, it's a brush. So that is amazing. I assume they put the paint first, but I'm not positive on that. And then the brush kind of comes in and makes the texture. But, this chaos in the brushes, as we were mentioning in the spaces, this chaos in brush strokes, I mean, that's kind of what makes this attractive. That chaos, that randomness, controlled randomness in a brush stroke. You don't know where every bristle is going to go. So all to say, the human and the machine continues to fuse here. And this is quite a solution here. Because what happens if you take Tuk's work and then you apply it here? Right? So I believe RuneTune shared this yesterday. Really cool. I'm going to show you some other very cool stuff. Look at this. Now, is this done with the same? This is also Artmater times noun. So this is using that tech as far as I understand here. So you can see this noun here. This pixelated work has been rendered, physically with all the kind of painterliness that we might expect from a human-created physical painting. That is quite something. So, here we go. So that's what happened yesterday on the Spaces. So it did not disappoint at all. I mean, it was a fascinating conversation. I think a lot of people's minds were blown, including mine, by this tweet. I think RuneTune shared it. So that is cool. What else? Robot prints, and this is another one, also RuneTune. So this is the artist RuneTune saw Matthew Stone at The Hole in New York City last week, which he was discussing on the last episode, which unfortunately was not recorded. But let me just show you. Put some music on. Actually, I'm going to cut the music because sometimes we get weird copyright issues. So a little snippet of the music here. But look, the robot is printing oil paint onto linen. So I'd never even heard of that, seen that. RuneTune's in New York, so he, has a front row seat on a lot of, that's often where that kind of stuff is going to happen first. So stunning. This robot is printing oil paint onto linen, and I'm kind of back to, what if you apply that to Tuk's? So again, this kind of promised land, one of the promised lands, shall we say, is between this digital and physical, this interaction, this traveling through the mediums, as I say over and over here. And this was also shared by Nicola Villa, who is doing etching, of kind of pixelation here. So you see, and of course, when you etch it, you get all these little errors that come in, human error, and that gives it a lot of the charm. Right? And it's kind of, and that's what you're not going to get from inkjet printing. So very interesting. Nicola had a lot to say, shared a lot there. I actually that's a Twitter error. I follow Nicola. RuneTune, digital to physical. Obviously, I follow RuneTune too. That is a Twitter error, everybody, if you ever see that. That's why I do this a lot now. You can see it clear, and then I don't have to worry about that error. RuneTune, digital to physical. This was also shared. And this is Neurocolor in this kind of glass, mylar, plastic, whatever it is. Seal. I mean, I feel like I saw this originally with Beeple, like a year, actually maybe 2 years ago now, right? In 2021 at the height of the bull market. In February, when Beeple was breaking out, I felt like I saw. Anyways, it's pretty cool. And this, do we have? I'm not sure who. Maybe it's in the spaces. If you're wondering what the technology is, it's not Impossible Objects. It was something else. Sale, by the way, from Lone Wick. Thank you for picking up mountains. And the reason I bring this up is because I've been meaning to bring this up, and it's just more physical. And see, this is like a test print because there's errors on it. But you can sort of see how fun and beautiful this pixelation kind of comes out. So I have the whole series here, but I've been meaning to show that to you guys for a very long time. So there it is. So anyways, thank you, Lone Wick, for bringing that up. And finally, just on the spaces, so here is where you can get it. I'll try and remember to put the link in the description. It's also on YouTube. I'm uploading it too, but if you prefer Spotify, I finally have the editing. I kind of put the work in, figured out the work process. So now I kind of feel good about basically sharing it. I put all the previous episodes. They're kind of more rough edit, but they are there, and there's some stunning, actually, interviews. Gogolitis, Purple Drank, some really great discussions here. Rare. That was great. So we had some great fun. So this is all up now. I'll start posting a link in the YouTube. Just search Artist Journal on YouTube. Also, that's what you saw here, if you're wondering. So anyways, I'm excited about that podcast side of things. I think it just extends our reach and everything. And I think it's just a heck of a lot of fun. And yeah, so quick comments here. Shout out to Mary Migraine. Great to hear from you as always. And I'm glad you're enjoying the show. And Mary loved Eternity by Stellar Particular, who keeps it on loop in the music for background. And also shout out to Human Boy. And we had a couple of comments regarding new artists on the show. Okay, so let me just go into it quickly. Quasi Obgetto. Amazing show as usual. Love when you bring art history, giving it a deep background. Marola Baccioni and the Pope from Die with the Most Likes is his take on an AI image that went viral this week for being confused as an actual photo of Pope Francis wearing a puffy jacket. Yeah, I saw that after the show. I was like, oh, that's where it's from. I also got to agree with the other comment, and we'll go to that other comment, saying you could diversify a little more. I'd rather see you spending more time featuring a few works from unknown artists or even deep analysis on current topics such as social proof. That's rushing through the same artists, then rushing through the same artists every day. And I need to speed this show up today. It gives a sense that the community is that small when actually there's a bunch of people out of the spotlight. Please take it kindly. I still believe this is an amazing initiative and it's your show anyway. Yeah, I really got the sense that this was a friendly sort of, hey, how about some other artists? And I guess what I would say is I'm doing the best I can. Like, it is, in a sense, it's a newspaper of the imagination. I kind of literally mean that, where it's like I'm going out there and almost taking snapshots, people's art, and then I'm organizing it almost like a newspaper editor and going, here's the headline, Tukes, look at this. So it's kind of based on that. Now, I am always, to me, finding a new artist that people haven't seen, that's like an exclusive in my kind of newspaper of the imagination here. So I'm all for it. So what I would say to Quasi Obgetto and also to, I think, Arturo, I think you shouldn't repeat so much the same artists, maybe just take the bestsellers, the unseen jewel, and discovered new artists. What I'd say to you both is, here's the deal. If you put new artists in the comments here on YouTube, I will put it on my radar. That's what I say to everybody that messages me, and you're on the radar. No guarantees about anything, but I will look and I will follow and everything, and it's on the radar. So if there's someone you think I'm missing, by all means, these other artists, put them in here. Help me out, because I'm one person. Okay. So that's all I would say about that. So I appreciate the comments though, because, you guys are like, you're coming back and it appears to me you care about the show and you also kind of care about me. And I appreciate that. So I appreciate the comments. Maybe when I can find some new ones while I'm off in Tuscany, hopefully drinking wine. And just another comment from Emily Thompson here. Thanks, Adrian. I love the show. It's really valuable to hear your thoughts on social proof and how to manage unsold work. It got me I think I'm going to write a little blog post about that, actually. It got me thinking maybe I should be minting more and then reviewing the number of unsold editions later. I actually like that idea a lot. I've always quite liked the idea of using the blockchain as an art diary with sales being a bonus, which I think is a very healthy attitude. However, I currently have 2 collections on Object with unsold editions, so I've been holding back minting more. I've been experimenting and enjoying creating new work, so maybe I should just be getting out there. Mint now, curate later. Yeah, I'm a big believer. Over time, I used to think it was all about making the perfect work, and then you don't need to have that much output. But I had a Copernican revolution in my head at about 2013, 2014, when I was making 2 paintings every 2 years. And I realized this is just a failed business model, and I wasn't enjoying it and all this sort of thing. So I'm kind of a believer in quantity over quality now. That's a Copernican revolution, because that's outrageous in my own mind to my previous self. But I'd rather you want a standard of quality without question. okay? But it's sort of like, don't be over precious about it. Don't be a perfectionist about it. Experiment and you'll learn along the way. Learn by doing. So I think I think you have a great attitude about it. And yeah, don't worry about it. And the memories are short here. So if stuff isn't selling, all of a sudden you can blow up like within a day, in this scene, or within a week, or it happens like Tukes. I mean, 6 months, Uxine, 6 months. Like, so it's literally 6 months. You can go become a star. In 6 months, you can become a star in this scene. And I'm not sure if that's exactly possible in contemporary art. I think it moves slower than that. So, at the speed of light here with our internet communications, that's possible. Speaking of stars being born, I mean, Schwaggles-Meskinen was already a star, but look at this. I mean, talk about deja vu here. Grail secured, X-copy, in reference to Schwaggles-Meskinen, this awesome work, which we actually had on the show. Grail secured. So I went over to Schwaggles' page, and yeah, all of a sudden the sales started going. I got the last of the Abnormal that I needed, also a Schwaggles-Meskinen series, because I was like, oh man, these are all going to disappear, and I'll never be able to complete that series if I don't get it now. So luckily I got the last of that. And this was also something Schwaggles-Meskinen put out here. 48 by 48, this classic Lego, what would you call it? Like ground or platform, for lack of a better word, and then some Legos in here. It almost needs the square ones, but the square ones would be impossible to take on and off. But anyway, very interesting here. Just kind of a fun way of maybe composing, make pixel art. So anyways, congrats to Schwaggles and Schwaggles-Meskinen, and obviously we'll be following very closely the developments on that one. Santiago Isacoro had a message, and I guess Santiago, who I think has commented a couple of times at least, more than that, on this show, shout out Santiago, is also with Taya, if I'm not mistaken, and also an artist. Taya is about to start charging fees again when we finish the process of legally conforming the LLC. We are just waiting for the multi-sig vote from the core team to activate them, so you can still benefit from the zero fees program for today or during the next hours. So I guess they had zero fees. If I had known that, I think everybody would have been minting on Taya. Taya Lovers Unite. We've just executed the DAO multi-sig proposal to activate the marketplace. So this went through. Taya's marketplace contract will now collect a 2.5% fee for the Taya DAO treasury. You know what else this gets me thinking is, because a lot of us are just kind of getting by as artists. That's basically the norm, almost if you're lucky. At least out here in Berlin, I mean, from the people I know. So what I would say is maybe it's worthwhile to mint on Taya in case they do a token drop at some point, because that's what all this seems to be almost leading up to. And if they have fees, where are those fees going to go, right? To the DAO, well, what do you, so you can put I'd do the math on that one. Just a gallery here. A lot of artists we know. E.R. Dice, Akira D. I'm thrilled to unveil my updated, curated NFT gallery with Tezos only art from object.com. 'Tis a fraction of all, so expect V 2.0 soon, but please enjoy. So I thought it was just kind of cool. And I thought also these galleries are getting more persuasive to me, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just the way the works are being collected. Maybe it's what's not in it, because it doesn't have and nothing against CryptoPunks. I love CryptoPunks, but maybe because it's not just a typical CryptoPunk and that sort of thing. There's Gogolitis, there's Uxine, like this looks great. So I like, to me, it just makes me bullish on what's going on there. And also Jeremy Austin. Thanks to everyone who picked up an edition of 690 kPa of Pure Joy on Nifty Gateway. Also a huge thanks to Oshi Gallery for inviting me to be a part of Urban Roots show. So here is the work by Jeremy Austin, and it looks like this is the digital, and then this is how it looks on the screen, and also we see here works being displayed. So shout out to Jeremy Austin, and always great to hear from you. And here is more works being shown. This time it's Rada, and I think we can make this bigger. And Rada's always kind of hilarious, isn't he? So anyways, yeah, Is there volume? No. Oh, there is. Okay, I'd love to play that, but we're not going to for copyright reasons, so our video doesn't get disappeared. Anyways, it's all looking really good, isn't it? RJ, GM all just minted the first piece of a new collection, Signing In. Great title. The Internet's Daughter, more details. And as a collection, Signing In imagine figures from modern art caught in the world of Web3. It adapts and transposes social, historical, and political contexts in order to reflect on the state of art today. So here is the first work, and who is this? Paula Rego. It was born in Lisbon in 1935. So you can read all about that, but, as I was reading those YouTube comments, I was like, does that mean I don't get to show RJ anymore? So you have to kind of go, it's art, it's super subjective, so you just got to go with what you love, and that's how I can show up all the time. It's just like, oh, look, another RJ, I can't wait to, and then the cat and everything. So anyways, this was fascinating. Spagels Maskinen. I was tempted to start with this too, but Spagels Maskinen retweeted this. Thoughts Delegated. This is by Clara Volstate, and it is actually it's on Super Rare. There's a bid for 0.15, and this is a conceptual piece of art that explores the idea of outsourcing intellectual labor to artificial intelligence, a major theme right now, specifically ChatGPT. I mean, they say that, white-collar workers are the ones who are more threatened by ChatGPT than blue-collar workers, right? Or people that work with their brain, who do writing, are more at threat of losing their jobs than people that work with their hands. So you can just check that out. The artwork is inspired by a scholarly paper on the impact of AI on neuroplasticity in youth, with the unique twist that the paper itself was entirely generated by ChatGPT, an AI language model. So, just finally, by emphasizing the artist's absence from the creative process, Thoughts Delegated invites the viewer to reflect on the implications of relying on AI like ChatGPT for human cognition, knowledge generation, and the potential ethical concerns arising from such delegation. I almost wonder if that was written by ChatGPT, because ChatGPT often talks about the potential ethical concerns, having used it quite a bit. We talk about it at the start of yesterday's Spaces, by the way, too, for about 5 or 10 minutes, ChatGPT, and just kind of the latest things that I've been discovering on it. Louis Osborne, just the stickers. The Sticker Bomb Open Edition ends in just over 2 hours, so this actually already ended. But again, it's kind of like back to this, these are digital stickers, but it's almost back to this physical thing, physical to digital and back. And here we see digital stickers. So a digital representation of a physical thing. And I'm just crying out for the physical versions. But of course, those wouldn't move. So maybe that justifies them being digital stickers, is the fact that they move. Animated stickers from Louis Osborne. This was an ad, okay, Western Digital. I thought it was really cool. Here's the Mona Lisa. It almost reminds you of those Warhols that are almost like the paint by number Warhols. Kind of has, maybe it is like a direct kind of reference, but anyways, I'd never seen it like that, and actually kind of a fun, frame here. So, all to say, there's Western Digital, some ad, and I was like, I quite like that. I clicked on it, and I was like, oh, it just takes me to a website. Flora Marquez, another work here. And another thing about showing the same artist is I like to see the evolution, too. Like, I am an artist, and, and artists work on different series, and, I like to see that evolution. And as doing this show, I also kind of, I check out some artists' series, not others. So I kind of, all to say, I like seeing the evolution. And we're going to see more examples of how that's kind of beneficial, because you see how artists evolve, because then you start to see the conceptual, what's going on behind, behind the image, like the thoughts that go into it. And here, look at how Flora Marquez has developed from January. That's why, and it looks great. So anyways, I think I picked this one up, actually. I did. For 17 Tezos, I regret nothing. I think that's a quote of Jean-Paul Sartre, "Je regrette rien." Quite a statement. As William Burroughs said, there's not a single day that goes by where I don't regret something I did, something I said. So anyways, I'm more in the Burroughs camp than the Jean-Paul Sartre camp on that one. Timothy Julien, Living Loose. So great to, we return to artists here as well. We haven't seen Timothy Julien for, months, a couple of months maybe 6 weeks. And with another new piece, and a very interesting piece here, an interesting treatment of this blue here. Is it a sky or is it paint? So there's ambiguity there, kind of a Lichtenstein feel, but still Timothy Julien. I'm not sure it's for sale yet. I thought I picked one up though. Seba Sestero, GM everyone. So interesting illustration here too. Interesting contrast with the fuzziness in the background there, isn't it? And kind of a surrealistic, almost like suggesting corporeality, but not emphasizing it. Still kind of semi-abstract here. And a new one from Enhagluk, Dream of Box. Cool title, cool kind of a variation on the composition. Seems to be it's pushing the boundaries of the series here. And so anyways, and really interesting business going on here. Almost looks like an impossible space here, doesn't it? Dream of Box, hope for a miracle in a dream. Kind of Escher-like in a certain sort of way. And continuing on, this beautiful, beautiful work by Dan Control. Here's another work we could have easily headlined our newspaper of the imagination with. This surreal YouTube show that we have here. Look at this, all made with gradients. He's almost getting too good at it. And look at the water in the background. I mean, Dan is getting very good at this gradient tool that nobody uses other than for simple gradients, to generalize. This is a stunning work. 6 Tezos, I picked one up. So anyways, I think they're still available. I'm your Huckleberry. So this is Mikey Wilson continues to make a nice evolution here. And I thought this sky is really interesting too. That's almost white. It's like an extremely pale blue sky. And this kind of sci-fi situation. They almost look like guns here, but not quite. Maybe something else. Who knows? Interesting, mysterious work from Mikey Wilson. A one of one that sold for $77 to M. Colonna. So shout out to Michael, who picked up the work from Mikey Wilson. And here is some monochromatic works by Rosetto. So pretty cool. This is in a world. I don't think I brought it up, but anyways, cool to just see the black and white versions here. And also, it moves. Let me just do this. Go back. There we go. Yeah, Foundation can be a little tricky with the caching here. How are we doing? I have a hard deadline in half an hour, so we will continue to run. Anyway, cool work by Rosetto here. Look at the skulls. This figure made of skulls, and there is the skull again. It's looking great. So there is a bid for 0.15 ETH from Kao. And here, all the bidders will get this piece. All bidders will get an edition of this on ERC 721, Don't Sleep. So reason to bid here. That is always a cool idea. I think Has Dribble Waffle once did that too. I'm sure probably many times for rewarding the bidders. It's a cool idea. Also works by Rosetto. I think these are older, some secondary sales, but again, I like going, because if we always have new artists, where's the narrative here? So it's always a challenge to kind of keep a narrative together. It's a balancing act. Let's put it that way. Because I'm always, if anybody sees new artists that I should be adding here, by all means, leave them in the comments on YouTube. Don't leave a link, because that will be hidden and I won't even be able to see it. YouTube hides those. Just put the name of the artist and the platform. So like Rosetto Foundation, for example. Look at Yuri J. This work from 2021, which also gives us a clue into Yuri J's style. So first of all, Yuri's been working for a while here clearly. And we see how this style has evolved because we've looked at a lot of Yuri J's work. So it's interesting to see this earlier work here, which is why I show it. Continuing on, a new interesting composition from Santiago, and I'm loving this kind of negative space here, maybe more than anything. So a nice take on it, a really nice kind of light orange in the background, and this nice, almost kind of drips or whatever they'd be. It's going to be listed on Artists of Today. I'm actually also in that show, and a lot of great artists on Foundation World this April 1st, which is on Saturday. So that'll be awesome. That's going to be a fun show by Legojo. And here, commemorative dithered screenshot for the drag and drop draw tool, Human Kernel and Santiago, a really cool piece that I believe was probably made by ChatGPT, and they actually released, I think, there's another piece, I believe, where you can drag and drop your image. So they probably use this software as they're doing that other stuff where you could repeat the heads, if you remember that show from about 6 weeks ago. Anyways, made using the drag and drop tool and a screenshot from the browser and GIMP. So interesting work, 6 Tezos, edition of 20. Really looks good from a distance too, doesn't it? And up close. And you see a lot of this sampled brush sort of thing here, dragging. It's just interesting. So is this at the bottom. I'm still processing this piece. Might have to return to it. Ed Marola, Futuru. Let's see if we can get... And the music is a little different on this one. Edition of 5 for 25 Tezos. And that light in the background there. Very nice music here. Ed's ready for Berlin, if you ask me. That music has Berlin all over it. Like it has some sort of special event at the, what do they call the orchestral place? I'll remember another time. And look, this is also going to be in the Legojo show by Ed Marola. These kind of really cool work, these lasers, kind of trademark Ed Marola. Really cool. And then a little figure here, Suzanne Violetta and her magnificent pixel synth in an original composition. So hopefully there's music on that one too. If there's not, that's okay. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Cap'n. Only 3 minted so far of Wild Eye. Interesting work. Just what kind of mystified me on this one, I was like, oh, it's kind of like the face and the moon, but the moon seems to be over here. And then you have this. So anyways, just an interesting piece here from Cap'n. Open edition. Also some pixelation courtesy of Uxine. And this is, I believe, an edition of 6. And really cool, GIF work. He's very good at the mechanics of the GIF and just playing with, making similar images on different frames and then just playing with that. Again, you can tell, and that beautiful matte black, you can tell Uxine has been making, graphic work for years and years and years. Makes it look very easy. And look at this really cool series Uxine also put out, Cards Lacking a Specific Purpose. And here you can buy for 65 on secondary, which is actually not bad at all. These are great, playing with the pixelation, and it almost looks like a magic card or something. And here's another one, Rug Pull. So playing with Web3 tropes, or just crypto tropes. Extra debt, go broke, lose everything. Also 666, edition of 3. And paper hands, and some, looks like a skeleton, classic Uxine, available for 65, edition of 33. So anyways, very fun and very cool. Popple, sketch versus finish. And I've been meaning, I think I've shown a few of these, but I really like how Popple's doing this. And it's really fun to see. It looks like, it's hard to tell if, Popple's using a mouse or what, because I believe this is in Aseprite, which would suggest a mouse, but I guess you can use Wacom. I don't have a Wacom, so you could probably do a Wacom too. Anyway, sketch versus finish, and there it is. So an incredibly original series here. It's sort of like Bjork. If Bjork didn't make it, nobody would have made it. That's kind of like how I feel about this, a lot of Popple's work. If Popple didn't make it, nobody would have made it. So very unique. Stippen Pixel with I thought a pretty stunning pixel artwork here. Eternal Cascade Retreat. So not disappointing. Look at this treatment of the tree here. There's a lot of, Stippen Pixel has made a lot of nice pixel art, in my opinion. Edgy, kind of pushing the edges, pretty original. Edition of 3 for $5. I think I picked one up. I think I might have picked up the last one actually right before I loaded this up. Mikey Wilson, Haiti Rocket, so a nice group of collectors there. Stippen Pixel, The Bluebird's Perch. This is a 101. I might have, did I? No. So this is still available. So interesting, almost like a treehouse or something. How are we doing? We're doing well. Another one by Stippen Pixel, Prism for Mystery, edition of 5, so part of that series. And again, look at the evolution here. Now the building almost seems to be crowded out by the noise. So that's also something we're following here. An enigmatic cityscape with deep dark colors and intricate architecture that sparks curiosity. Very interesting pixel artist. Mech.txt was something kind of, I don't want to say out of left field. We're in the middle of the week. Be wary of exhaustion, fellas. Take some time off for the signs of it. Just kind of a soothing piece from Mech.txt. Kind of a fun piece. Almost more cartoonish is almost how I'd say. The bird and everything. It almost looks more like a video game. So interesting. Speaking of video games, Stelamir. Auction has ended now on Ultima Thule Eclipse. I think this is related to Ultima 4, that video game from my youth that I love. And so Ultima Thule is my second. So this seems to be a tribute too. So that is interesting. Is my second one-of-one ETH work in Mentalist 420 collection. So just always look at that. And then, yeah, that looks like Ultima with the phases of the moon there. Very cool. Brave. So I couldn't find these. We have a couple of works by Brave with cool music, by the way. Very nice music. I couldn't find these online. But pretty funny. And look at the dithering in the sky and the sideways 80s, space car or whatever you want to call it. So pretty cool. Here's another one by Brave. Again, I couldn't find them. Owned by Hamster Labs. I don't know if I looked on Object, I looked on Foundation. Almost a bit of a Popple feel. Looks underwater, maybe. Pretty cool. Sci-fi pixel art. It would definitely hang well. Definitely hang well with Popple. Continuing on, Tom Bombadil. Another one of my works on Foundation. So we've looked at a ton of Tom Bombadil's work on Object with the guy with the gas mask and everything, pixel art. So here are a different series. And there is no volume on this, but it was just kind of interesting to see, after seeing so much of Tom Bombadil's work, see the other work here. And just kind of interesting, you start to see connections here. And here's Tom Bombadil on Foundation, and you see, like, I wouldn't call it a completely different style, but kind of a different series. Let's put it that way. Still pixel art, but in a much different vein. So that is interesting. That is great. Pepe the NFT collector. That is beautiful. Doesn't look like, I guess it is sold. Jagged Soft owns that one. Anyways, interesting stuff. And Gogo Lightus with a preview of a work in progress here. So more stuff to keep us excited for the weekend here. Shout out to Gogo Lightus. And here's Dexter, who's been experimenting with pixel art here. And Dexter makes a lot of landscapes. So anyways, I was just interested to see how Dexter treats a landscape. And look at the sky. I have to kill my Siri.
1 moment.
This is going to be on the bloopers here. Okay. Hopefully Siri stops talking to me, but I keep saying the name. Anyways, we have to run here. Dexter with a really interesting sky here is what I wanted to highlight, and playing around with the pixel art. So edition of 1 for 15 Tezos. And of course, Kurt Hustle Collective, Dreamsavers software. So very interesting as ever. I like the title of this series, Dreamsaver. Almost like a screensaver, and there's a lock. And very unpredictable as ever here. Dreamsavers clip art. Minted on Taya, by the way, these last few works. So I don't know if that's a thing, if minting on Taya is the new thing, but it makes you wonder. And we'll also take a look at this, just one call. So there is a new ad from the Kurt Hustle Collective. Let's see if we can get it working.
Are you having trouble saving your dreams? Then why not call Dream Savers today and learn how to bring those dreams into reality? Call now on 1-900-1997-900. Keep those nightmares at bay. Your true dreams are only a call away.
Wow.
1-900
Dream Savers.
997-900.
Awesome glitch.
97 cents the first minute. $1.97 each additional minute.
It's so beautiful. I love those guys. So yeah, that is still available, 10 Tezos. Coda Nakazono. I missed this one. This is an edition of one. Let's just see what it sold for. Only 55. Olaf Breuning. And yeah, I mean, digging the hard edges here, almost like this pixelation in the white here. It's just kind of endless what it seems like Coda can do with this series here. Continuum number 88. So here's a new one. And yeah, it's just, see the background here where it's almost experimenting with what looks like a hard-edged digital brush or something, pencil tool maybe, or something like that. Anyway, interesting. And Lorna Mills, Coda's work just gets better and better. I want them all. Yeah, Coda is turning heads here. So yeah, so it's good to follow artists, right? And watch them evolve and everything. Native Ed, continuing with this series here, coexistence.dmg.exe, all in web aesthetic is the series, all-in-one solution, just kind of a cool work here. There we go. So anyway, is that a GIF? Like, yeah, that's a GIF. Buy for 78, so that must be on secondary. It is, and sold for 10 Tezos on primary, sold out within a day or 2 days. Pretty good though, at 10 Tezos, that's 200 Tezos, which is what, $250? That's pretty awesome. Ellie Lowe, with an unusual piece. All You Knew Is a Trash? So, interesting. Very interesting. Not sure, like, again, keeps it unpredictable, which I love, actually. Look at this other work by LB. I missed this one. I ended up picking both these up. These are only 2 Tezos, edition of 10. And let's just make it bigger. I mean, I just think it's very good-looking glitch. I'm not much of a skateboard person, but this is awesome, right? Raw VHS distortion, CRT scanned, like, and I love the TV frame, actually. How are we doing for time here? Good. Some stills from LB. Very nice stills. I think Spogels Maskinen actually picked these up. Both of them. Saw it on Twitter. Oh no, Flunk, maybe that is, no. I thought Spogel might have picked these up. Let's look here. There we go. Picked up this other one, still number 31. These are gorgeous. These are gorgeous. Let's just see what the price was. 15 Tezos. Yeah, I mean, they're beautiful. Continuing on, and this incredible, this also could have started this show. Sabato, Autotopia with this, feels like Camp Creme never ended for Sabato over here. So the Angels and the Cars and Midjourney 5 continues. This one really kind of turned my head. And I have no idea what's going on in this series. If you think you know what's going on, and it's probably not too, usually there's explanation. In Autotopia, you carry the weight of the sublime, so kind of mysterious here. Chorale, again, kind of that religious sort of, theme. Generative AI photography, documenting humans and their cars, created with Midjourney V5 and edited with Gigapixel in Photoshop. So nothing quite like it. Here's another one. Speedrun Saturday, and it looks like Burning Man or something. And anyway, really wild work. where love and loyalties are tested with speed trials. So very interesting, and you can see more of Sabato's Pretty Wild series. I picked this Fancy Ride Up because, yeah, I mean, I like the humor. I mean, humor is it's an underrated thing in art. Humor is really nice and important, and to me, it shows it's a very great quality for an artist to have, is humor. It really, like Max Ernst, it's full of humor. You could argue Magritte, Dali. There's a ton of humor with a lot of the modern art. That's what André Breton was trying to say with the essay on dark humor, is that it has an aesthetic quality to it. Anyway, speaking of humor, 1700 Gucci water pipe. So this is a shisha pipe, and we got all sorts of places you can smoke shisha in Berlin. HQ with cool AI work here. So Gucci shisha, courtesy of HQ, and they're all still available, only for 2 Tezos. Shout out to HQ. Moonchild with some experiments here, and look at this. So anyways, we haven't looked at Moonchild for a little bit here, so just kind of interesting. These are AI experiments here, and you can see more. And yeah, so anyways, just kind of interesting to see Moonchild and the direction Moonchild is going in. So anyways, just some experiments from Moonchild here. Continuing on, look at this person. Here's a new artist, I think, Mr. Bezold, with these great AI still lifes. Shout out to Mom, with these great AI still lifes of flowers and Enchanted Dreams, edition of 3 for 3 Tezos. So again, sort of like we were hearing from Emily at the start of the show, like, yeah, don't despair, my friends, because these are great. Okay, 3 Tezos, this is really beautiful. Don't worry, these are great. I think very interesting, attractive still lifes, tapestry florals. And here's some recent work by Mr. Bezold, Living Life in Amsterdam. Give Mr. Bezold a follow. And look at all these great works here. I mean, it'd be tempting if I was Mr. Bezold to maybe reduce these to editions of 1. And then you could probably put them at $10 and maybe they will go quicker. So anyways, all interesting over here. And you can tell who this is. This is Walk with a beautiful work of, I guess that's Marilyn Manson. Look at this portrait. Look at this incredible portrait. This is a physical work, I'm sure. A brilliant master of the spray can. Die with the most likes. Continuing the painting here with a darker work, almost reminds me of War, where the leaves no longer fell. So interesting painting, almost has a German expressionist feel to it in this one. Very nice painting from Die with the Most Likes. And of course, Joao Salazar, next week on Object. So another plasticine work, and there's the 404 again. I love the 404. And the verification and everything. Such an original, interesting artist. And I already follow. Let me just show you guys. See? That is a Twitter bug. And that's your show, everyone. Thank you for joining me again. Until next time, take care.